Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk to you about this assignment. Assignment. Where is it? The model? Sorry. This assignment on our digital marketing Moodle page, and we are talking about the last assignment in the capstone project for Google search ads. So, for the last assignment on the capstone project, you would need your keywords analysis metrics, the results from the keywords everywhere, and also you would need to open up the file here, the Excel file, to work with it. So the Excel file that you will find will look something like that or like this. And the first thing you need to do is to, of course, put yourself into the situation where your client is Cute Baby Shop, and this assignment is very relevant to what you've been doing in phase 1, 2, and also 3. And you are working on your first marketing campaign for launch, and you would need to put your campaign name. We had a very good student asking, well, is the campaign name the same as the campaign ID, and why did I suggest that the campaign name, for example, is written as a template? So I'm going to answer this in a bit. So for a campaign name, I suggest that you use a template, not a template, but template, or rather a system that resembles the system that you've learned or we usually use in the key or primary key or the unique key in data bases. So for example, here you will have something like 2 digits for the year, so we refer to that as YY for the year. Then probably you want to put the quarter as 1, 2, 3, fourth quarter, and then maybe you want to put the number for the month, and that will be 2 digits because we have up to 12 months. And then you might actually put an underscore, and you might put something like S for search, D for display, Y for YouTube, T for TikTok. So if you have a system like that, why not? And then you have that serial number, for example. So you could do such a thing, and you have a serial number of, for example, 4 or 3 digits, up to you. If it's 4 digits, you can just put number like that. If it's a 3 digits, you can put it like this. So in reality, what this code or this kind of angular brackets used, what does it mean is, for example, this year it's a 25 quarter, we are in quarter 2, and we are month 6, and we are search, and this is our 1, 2, and 1, 2 zeros before the 1. If this campaign is number 91, then it will look like this. If this campaign is number 500 or 891 for this year so far, we put it like this. So these 2 zeros are just, to maintain the stable number of digits. So any campaign name will consist of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 characters, including the underscore. Okay, so that would be something, that a system that we would use for a campaign name. Now, a student asked me a very smart question: how about the campaign ID, as discussed in class? But I couldn't put enough time to show you, but let me show you. If you go to your Google Ads and you go to campaigns, as you can see here, and then you open up settings. So I would like to show you here, the campaign ended right now, so I'm going to show you here a little bit about the campaign name. There is no such a thing as a campaign ID into the system. There is such a thing as a campaign name, right? So this is the campaign name, and this is what will be showing on our dashboard. So I would like also to show you, so that some students, actually one student told me that this is not related to the phase 4 assignment. This is not meant to be for phase 4. This is meant for us to make sure that whatever we discussed in class, and I've been updating you on how to do tracking, or how to do this, yeah, you know, to do so many different things practically with Google Ads, that we're actually doing a good job. And as you can see, this campaign is the campaign name. This is what is showing on your screen. So what is it that we talked about then with the campaign ID? That was the custom tracking template. That was the custom tracking template. Okay, so that was the custom tracking template. I'm not sure if I said this clearly in the classroom. Uh, Category, so you remember the tracking template. If you go to the set of slides, I'm sorry, I didn't, it's just come spontaneously right now. Let me check what if I have the tracking template screenshot very quickly. And I want to relate it to the slides so that you will be more confident with what's given in class as well. So okay, I'll show you a little bit later. So now this is taking longer than expected. In any case, so this is a very interesting way of referring to a campaign. Now, where did we talk about the campaign ID in class? Just to refresh your memory, it was here. It was somewhere in the tracking. And I put here campaign ID, for example, add group ID. These are not necessarily, they're not embedded into the system. These are examples of value tracking parameters. So I had a slide also that has a number of examples for a value tracking parameter. Where is it? Over here. Common value tracking or value track parameters. So there is keyword that you can also add. There is device that the system can understand and pull out from the system. There is also others like campaign ID. So you could create these parameters and add them to your system here, custom parameters. So you can add it here as a campaign ID and add the campaign ID here, or you can put here the you don't. So this is what it meant, yeah. Now keywords, on the other hand, is something that you just keep into the tracking template. But campaign ID, it's a custom parameter that you can add, and you add here the campaign ID. But on the system, as I just showed you, where is the system right now? But on the system, as I just showed you, you have campaign name, campaign status, marketing objective, networks, then budgeting and bidding, other settings. You have here the campaign URL option. Of course, all the time, do the ad rotation, not optimize for the customer, not do the ad rotation. Probably I haven't talked about this. So this is something that we actually do for the campaign. So you can add a custom parameter, and you can add the ID, the campaign ID here, if you would like to have this form to be the ID and another like keywords some students said made with love as a name. I know that sounds the reverse, but this is my style. My style is to easily connect what's here into the system. Where is it? I'm sorry. What's here into the system, easily connected with my database in the local company, and that would be treating the campaign name as the campaign ID, and then internally into my internal system I can add made with love or summer campaign or okay. So I believe that this system is the right system, and it's very important for standardization, especially if you're going to work with a third party company, for example, a marketing agency to run some of your campaigns, and some other campaigns are run internally into your company. Then in this case, if you hire anybody, any consultants, any influencers, any other companies, you could provide, you could link easily with this system. Category name. Now, category or product name would be any two products that you are interested in. From here, the Cute Baby Shop clients page. So visit the clients page again if you forgot what kind of products we have, and try to focus on one or two products. So in this assignment exercise, I'm going to focus on, for example, let's say you want to focus on baby blankets, and you want to focus on sleeping bags, for example. In reality, you don't do that. You focus on everything. So all the keywords are gonna undergo the same assessment, and even more rigorous assessment. So you, for example, here, once you're done with this, so this is a system for beta connection with a database. This is the categories or the products names, and these are the keywords here that we have connected with these two categories. One of the keywords I wanted to assess is the baby clothing. It's a broad keyword. I want to also look into the very direct keywords to the two products, at least one very direct keyword or two. In my case, baby blankets, we had only baby blankets. Sleeping bags, we have baby sleeping bag or baby sleeping bags. And then I added also baby rompers. So let's imagine that you're focusing on these two. So the idea is to understand that there are so many keywords. Where did you get all this information from? You got it from you got it from our Moodle page, from the assignment of the capstone project assignment, from the phase 1 here, when I provided you with the results. You see that? So you opened up this file and you started looking up, some examples. I had some of the students who sent me their assignment putting something about dresses. So let me add dresses and make two examples for you. So we have, there's no other dresses here. Yes, we do. We have baby dresses. We have, but baby dresses, maybe there's a mistake with this. It's too small. Let me take a long keyword. Let me take a long keyword. Let's see. Let's imagine that the assignment will be a bit stretched. No, don't do that to me, okay? So let's imagine here. we have also this keyword, and let me add another keyword, which is wet coats, maybe baby coats. You see, seems like many of the players in this industry are focusing on organic, as you can see, but the search volume for the CPC is horrible for a startup business. So this is not something that I will advise any startup business, especially if they don't have the money, or they are a little bit, as expected. You see, this is gold, and seems like not many players in the market are actually following this very important analysis. Okay, where is baby rompers? We had it. What about baby coats, for example? Baby coats, where is it? Okay, let's escape the guessing, and here it is. So baby coats sounds about right, the CPC. So now let's imagine that you have a number of keywords. One of the keywords you're interested in now in focusing on is baby blankets. Yeah, the idea is that you will always think about tiered strategy from the ad group. Now with the ad group name, I know that in the class I just told you write whatever name you want, but actually in reality we're usually going to use a system like this, just like here. Even with the ad group name, I had a similar system. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, so usually I would have a similar system, and I will, instead of putting the year and the name, I will be taking for example, for this I will give s underscore and the number. That's the same number here. Do you see this number? So I'm going to take this number here. You see? And then I will put here, for example, my own number. Did you get me? So I am related to the search ads to maybe I'll put a quarter if I have it also, you know. Okay, sorry, let me put this. So now we're gonna put another number. Serial number. Doesn't matter capital or small, okay? So this number is different than the number up here. Okay, so that would be something you could use. I didn't use this in this campaign that I put. I just put it very quickly, 25 0 0 0 1, and then I put 0 1 out of 1. Actually it should be 0 1 out of 0 1, but I don't think that we will have more than 10 ad groups, so I just put 1. So basically you can put it like this, and then if you want you can put this ad group is number what out of for example the total number. So this is like the first ad group, the second ad group, the third ad group, and so on, like 1 out of 1, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, and so on, and 2 out of 2, 2 out of 3. And then however with this naming, it's very I try not to do it unless especially for a new for something new you've never done before, because then if you add one extra ad group, which is something that we do most of the time, then what happens is you have to go back and change all the ad group numbers, and that's very painful really on Google Ads, because you have to go inside the system. As you can see here, you have to go inside the system and go one by one and fix them. It's painful. Okay, so if you write it as just a name like this, I will just let go. But honestly, I should be a little bit strict and get you used to come up with a certain template so that we can make mistakes, or we can discuss, okay, this is valid as a template, but understand if you add more ad groups, you have to go back and change all the ad groups, numbers, serial numbers, and so on. So this is a better general approach. You say that this is search, you say that this is the number of the campaign, and this is the number of the ad group. In reality, you might actually make this template even more sophisticated and better. But for now, I think this is, I think even I added the S on the video. So for now, you're good to go. Anything that shows me that you understand that this is better be a system, like a template, this is all what I want to know, really. Over here, up to you. You can just do it as you wish. So for example, the last thing that this needs to be dealt with, if you're doing the templates here, you need to tell me if it's a broad match or a phrase match. So you need one ad group to be a broad match, and one ad group to be a phrase match. Broad match we discussed in class, so that would be phrase if you want to add here like that, and this will be exact. Now let me add more. Now what I'm gonna add is not part of the assignment, okay? The assignment should be just like this. Now for baby blankets, let's imagine that we're gonna put baby blankets and baby sleeping bags together because they're related to sleeping, you know. So baby blankets and baby sleeping bags, you can put these together. So one time they will run as a phrase match, yeah, and one time you will run their same ad group here. They belong to the same ad group. So this keyword and this keyword belongs to the phrase ad group, and also again they belong to the exact match phase group. I also said in class that you need, for example, to add the necessary simples. Of course, you can add it by the system with the drop-down menu, but I think it looks more professional on your end if you are working with somebody and you actually know what you're doing. Yeah? In fact, this assignment, I should have made you a little bit work better and added them again as a broad match. So the same keywords should be added again as a broad match. That would be the total view of what a tiered strategy is. But you don't need to do that. Just decide on one, on two. This is broad and this is broad. So a perfect assignment should have looked like this, that you learn that the tiered strategy that consultants actually work with their clients for easier management, so that they don't have to, you know, they put the maximum bid for the whole ad group, and this is broad, this is phrase. I just wanted to make sure that you actually know. Also, you train on the matches again. Okay. Okay. Now the assignment is up to here. All right. 2 matches. The idea now is the same keywords will be put in the same ad group, the same match type. The maximum bid should differ here. As you've learned in the slides, or maybe you will learn for the quiz. By the way, remind the quiz next week. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna say, all right, let's take a look. The baby blankets here, and baby sleeping bags here, or bag. They both have the same average CPC. Imagine, okay, at first let's imagine like that. So we decide, for example, your strategy might be 0.3 for everything, because this is what we discussed in class, yeah? Not a sound strategy for tiered bidding, yeah? For tiered bidding, usually you need to give this the least, this a little bit higher, this the highest. This is what this strategy calls for budget allocation based on the match type. For budget allocation based on the match type. Okay? Budget allocation based on the match type. Alright? So when this relevance is low compared to this higher, compared to this highest. So the higher the relevance, the better the quality of the clicks supposedly, and then you can bid more on all the keywords in this ad group. And what you need to know is that this is what the strategy calling for, but I don't do this. I usually look at okay, let me not talk about what I do, and this is how the strategy should work. Now, shall I talk about another example, for example? Shall I, for example, take two other keywords, like baby rompers and baby baby coats, and baby fleece rompers will be the best. So do you see what I do first? What I do first is I'm gonna add the same keyword in the different ad groups. You need to only put two ad groups. One time exact, one time phrase, and one time abroad. Do you see that? Yeah? Good. Then I'm gonna take the other keyword. Let's imagine that these two keywords are very much related. I'm sorry they're not, but even if they're not very much related, this strategy will still work and you can put all your keywords. But as I don't know who asked me, I think it was Ali who asked me, oh, how about can we even put them in, you know, can we have more than a broad match, kind of, and phrase match kind of ad groups? Yes, I could have kept the same work that I've done earlier, and the number here would have differed. This would have been 001. Like, for example, let me show you, because it's something that Ali asked about. Like, for example, this would be 001, let's imagine, yeah? This would be 002, for example, right? Because it's the second ad group. Do you see that, love? And then here, it is gonna be 3, yeah? Now, if you are working on the other, in reality, if you are working on the other keywords, this is what you do. Another ad group, you call it, for example, 4, yeah? And let's imagine that it has only one keyword for now. Let's put this together, yeah? Take baby coats, and one time it's gonna be broad, one time it's gonna be phrase, and one time it's gonna be exact. In fact, if I have baby jackets, you know, coats are different than jackets. Jackets look like his daddy's jacket that he goes like a suit jacket, while coat is like a little bit fluffy. So if we are having baby jackets, for example, I could pull that out also, and there's a phrase, and this is exact, right? Here's another example. You might have also another keyword in each ad group. 4, this is ad group 5, this is ad group 6. Another way to it's a good way. It's okay. And then over here, you would have, for example, let's take a look at you will have the broad, the phrase, and the exact. Okay. Now for the maximum bid, my love, what you need to do is you're gonna put here, for example, baby coats is around 0.2, for example. So you can match that with 0.19, or if you want, you can put 0.2, and then over here you put 0.25, and then this is why Nora Sensei said probably won't go above 0.3. Unless for baby rompers. Now, some students might ask me, baby rompers is 0.48. What should I do? Well, with baby rompers, there is a big competition, and in fact, most of our also clients' products is baby rompers. So what you can do is you can either, now for your website, you use the keyword with the highest search volume on the website, right? On the website. Now, you may go for onesies, or do you see why we put onesies, for example? So we have baby onesies, it's a 21. So you can bid on this keyword, and then with dynamic insertion, you can put baby romper, but you will not receive necessarily, the likelihood you will receive as much traffic wouldn't be as high because it is less. But it's not that much less, in fact. See? It is around 20% less in traffic. But you are cutting how much in cost? This I didn't believe this number. Ne? Do you remember, guys? I told you this is baby rompers. Sounds to be like 0.4 something. I believed it more. So remember this one, for example, in this case, you see, in this case, if you're not good with money, you can in fact add baby onesies. You see the difference? You cut almost half of the budget by using another relative keyword, but you use dynamic insertion in the ad group, when you're writing the headlines and all that. Now, let's imagine you are not as advanced as I am. You don't have to think very complicated. You want to follow just a structure and a book, which is not really a survival mode nowadays, especially with Gen AI. So what are we going to do is, for example, if you have baby onesies or baby rompers, one strategy is to just follow what we discussed in class and not deviate from it and just go 0.48. You could still say, I am up to 0.3 and I'm not going to bid more than 0.3, and you put them all as 0.3, which is not a valid option. Or you still start with 0.5, and then just for the paper, just for the work, just for the assignment, because you want to get it over with, you just say, okay, I'm going to match this. I'm going to put 0.48, the minimum for the broad. I'm going to add this, add a little bit for the phrase, 0.4, 0.55, and 0.6 for the exact, for example. So then you submit the assignment. I cannot say anything wrong with it. But in reality, I would also appreciate that, and it's going to be all right. But also I will not mind some students saying, okay, maybe I can use baby onesies because, and you write that down, because it has, it is only 20% drop in terms of traffic, and even this the other traffic was exaggerated. This is 41, this is 49. This is more realistic. I didn't notice that. You see, this sometimes I didn't notice that before. In fact, we all thought that baby rompers here, we took this traffic, which actually there's another baby rompers. that I found. We gotta be careful when we're doing this analytics. So this is the one, you see it. Actually, it is less. It's okay. At least now we know, huh? You see it? So this higher than this. So it is even less. So it is higher and less money. Yeah, there's nothing perfect, as I said, but Google. And SEMrush is very expensive, and other tools are very expensive, as you can see, because they understand the importance of this exercise. So we're just using this as academic purposes, but I actually also use it for other things. Okay, so here we go. Very interesting discussion. Ended up here probably going for baby onesies because it's in within our budget. And then we take baby onesies, for example, put it as broad, as phrase, as an exact. You can put baby onesies with any other keyword, for example, baby fleece onesies or baby fleece rompers or something like that, and see what you get. And then try to always bid the least on broad, bid the medium on phrase, bid the highest on exact. In fact, some say even you don't have to go like this extreme, but you can just put 0.22, and here you can put 0.25 or 28, and that would be also valid if you're asking a question. Do I have to always increment by the 0.05? No, not necessarily. You can increment by any way. The idea again is we need from this exercise, practical exercise, we learned that again we emphasize on what we've studied in class. The campaign name is the only variable that's showing on the system, while the campaign ID could be a custom parameter added, and you can add only one campaign ID for everything. Yeah, but a keyword, you don't add a keywords here. The keyword parameter is able to be dynamic rather than static. Okay, do you see now the difference? It's good that we're doing these exercises because now you understand this interface way much better, right? And you understand also why do we have the final URL here, right? Because in the tracking template, we're not gonna copy the cute baby shop, whatever. What we're gonna do is curly brackets, and we put here LP URL, and then we start with, or you can put it here. You can put it as HTTP, whatever, and you put here a URL. You can add this URL equals landing page URL, or you can skip that if you want and just use it from the final URL suffix over here. Okay. So this is about the campaign name, and then the second thing that we were talking about, the template. We talked about focusing on the idea that tiered bidding strategy is basically putting all the keywords that belongs to the same match type in one ad group. Students asked, can I put one ad group abroad for sleeping, one ad group abroad for coats and winter jackets? Yes, you can. So you can start by segmenting through the themes, different themes, but also at the same time you will have to run all the broad match together, all the phrase match together, all the exact match together, and make sure you don't have overlapping keywords in the broad match. So you don't have to run two broad match groups, but one is baby blankets, baby sleeping bags, and another baby coats, baby sleeping bags. No, it doesn't have to have an overlapping keywords. So just the keywords needs to be a little bit exclusive, yeah, in each ad group. Also, I would like to encourage you to keep thinking about a system to create an ad group name, even though it's a name and you might think that a name could be sleeping bags or whatever. That's for just class time, but in reality you would need to think about here search ad, this number, you take it from this number over here, this why it's in red, and then you start incrementing your group ad, and then add here at the very end if it's a phrase match, exact match, broad match, and so forth. So this is what this study is all about, or this quiz, this assignment is about. Also for negative keywords, with negative keywords, what you need to do is list 2 negative keywords, and with these 2 negative keywords you can add the minus sign onto your keyword by adding an apostrophe, because if you start with minus baby food, for example, it's going to give you trouble, as you can see. But if you add, instead of the equal sign that's added most of the time on automatically, you can add an apostrophe, and if you add apostrophe you will be able to add the negative keywords. Yeah, the other third thing that we need to focus on in this assignment is train on writing the phrase, the broad and the exact match with their appropriate symbols for professionalism. And that would be an interesting assignment for you guys. I think it's very fruitful. I'm glad that you asked me also about the campaign ID and all that. Thank you so much, and I will see you in class.